Everyone has a rejection story. Thomas Edison was expelled from school for being unteachable. Beethoven's music teacher remarked that as a composer, he was hopeless. There's no hope for Beethoven. Sidney Poitier was told in his first audition, "Why don't you quit wasting our time and go be a dishwasher or something?" Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination and not having good ideas. Michael Jordan was rejected from joining his varsity basketball team. Everyone has a rejection story. So what's yours? Maybe you were just fired from a job. You received that rejection. Maybe you've been applying for jobs for months and you feel like you're not gaining any ground and you receive rejection after rejection. Maybe you found the woman or the man of your dreams only for it to not work out in the end, for them to choose somebody else, and you received that rejection. Maybe you're someone who's lived your whole life longing for the acceptance of your parents. But no matter how much ground you make in life, no matter how much you achieve, you receive rejection after rejection after rejection. Everyone has a rejection story. However, rejection in itself does not define one's potential for success. And considering everyone has a rejection story, the determining factor of success in an area is not the absence of rejection, but it's what we do with said rejection. In life, the way we respond matters. The way we respond is everything, because it is our response and it is our actions that are bringing forth what we have in our life currently. And for 87% of people, their response when they are told no is to stop. There was even a study that for the average person to get over one no, it takes 17 yeses on the same subject. Every single person has heard no when they wanted so badly to hear yes. And rejection can have such a profound psychological impact on us as human beings. Research suggests that our brain processes rejection the same way our brain processes physical pain. Rejection can lead to low self-esteem. It could lead to anger. It could lead to depression. But really, the main issue is if you do not know how to process it, rejection can lead to you not fulfilling your destiny and your purpose on this earth. There is a question that every single one of us have asked at one point when we've received a rejection. And that is the question of, well, what's wrong with me? Why did this person not like me? What did I do wrong? Why didn't I win the award? Why didn't they choose me? What's wrong with me? And we have to be careful here, because rejection naturally causes us to believe that the reason behind us receiving this result of rejection is because we weren't enough. We often seek validation from others to affirm our value and our belongingness. We have an innate desire to want to belong. Now, you don't want to belong everywhere. Don't get me wrong. There are certain places where you couldn't care less about belonging. But there are certain places where you really, you want to feel accepted and you truly want to feel like you belong there. And when we're talking about rejection and our identity, one of the first things that I want to submit to you is the concept that rejection isn't proof. Because what you and I often do is once we receive the rejection, we tell ourselves, man, they saw it too. When we receive the rejection, we allow that rejection to confirm the lies that we are telling ourselves about ourselves. And I want you to hear me. It is possible for you to receive rejection without being a reject. Rejection is what happened. Rejection is not who you are. You're not a reject. Experiencing something in life is not the same as being something in life. And although this is a rejection, I am not a reject. Although this may be a failure, I am not a failure. And as long as we do not identify with rejection, rejection has no power to stop us. If you do not identify with it, the feeling of rejection can have no staying power. And if you're listening to me and you have been rejected or made to feel worthless, I want you to understand that you were made to stand out, that you were made to walk a unique path. And sometimes the path that we want and the path that we need to go, they are not in alignment. But you have to make it a point to experience the rejection without identifying with it. When it comes to the subject of rejection, there are three things that I want you to consider. The very first one is rejection is an opportunity for further preparation. We've established that rejection doesn't feel good, but we've also established that every single one of us go through it. So one of the things that we want to do when we receive rejection is take some time to consider, is the feedback true? Michael Jordan didn't make his varsity basketball team. Is it possible that he didn't make his varsity basketball team because he wasn't ready yet? Because what we often do when we receive rejection in life is we assume that it is with malice or with ill intent. But there's rejection with malice, and you know which pile you can put that into. And then there's rejection that is framed through the lens of constructive criticism and providing feedback for the individual. Feedback and constructive criticism help you identify blind spots, and it helps you grow. So with each rejection you receive in life, you're presented with the opportunity. Do I waste the rejection, or do I take the rejection as an opportunity to further invest in myself and invest in my future? Another thought is rejection is necessary. For a lot of people, if they are never rejected, they don't receive the fire they need to get to their next level. Because there are certain people that are negatively motivated just as people are positively motivated. And what I mean by that is there are certain people that if you tell them no, they can't, they will look back at you and say, oh, I can't? Hide and watch. Sometimes that rejection can be fuel if used properly. Another thought is rejection is often God's protection. Stop trying to pry doors open that were closed for your benefit. Keep moving forward and hold on to your belief that the best is yet to come. Sometimes life has us in the waiting room. And if you're in a waiting season, we have a video for you that I want you to check out. But sometimes life has us in the waiting season. And what I mean by the waiting season is there's a season where what you desire seems to be delayed. And although we don't like the delay, there is often protection in the delay. You will one day look back and be just as grateful for the doors that were shut as you will be for the doors that were opened. Another thought to consider is rejection is simply redirection. Sometimes you have outgrown a situation in life, but you refuse to move on from it. Sometimes you're in a situation and you're fully aware that the situation is capped. You're fully aware that there will be no more growth in this situation, but you refuse to move. Whenever you don't have the courage to move on in life, life moves on you every single time. I remember working for a company where I was truly miserable. I wasn't always miserable, but towards the end, I was extremely miserable. I was miserable to the point where on my last day there, I sat in the car in the parking lot for 40 minutes because I did not want to go inside. That was the day the struggling company laid me off. Because of my comfort zone, I had allowed myself to stay in a job as to where my distaste had grown so much that I didn't even want to go inside. Les Brown says, we're so crazy that we go to jobs we hate, but hope we don't get fired. Anybody out there at a job you hate, hoping you don't get fired? Listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the comfort zone. You either leave your comfort zone voluntarily or you leave it involuntarily. But make no mistake about it, you're leaving. You either leave on your own accord or life moves on you. And there's some paths that we willingly take, but then there's some paths that we are pushed onto because we lack the courage to go after what is on the inside of us already. But you're leaving the comfort zone either way. And sometimes you're going to be leaving the comfort zone through a rejection. Sometimes you're going to be leaving your comfort zone because someone or something chose someone else. But listen to me, true growth happens when you are able to be grateful, not just for the times that you were accepted, but true growth happens when you are able to be grateful for the times that you were rejected and when you are able to be grateful for the times that you were pushed onto a path that you would have never chosen for yourself. And no matter what you're going through, I want you to adopt the thought that nothing good gets away. You might say, Aaron, but it was good at one time. It was good for me at one time, but just because something was good for you at one time doesn't mean that eventually it's not going to spoil. Nothing that is good for you at this moment in your life gets away. And I'm encouraging you as I encourage myself that what is for you is for you. They can't take it. They can't take it from us. It was meant for me. It was meant for you. Stop trying to pry the door open. And who knows, when you look back, you might see that that job you wanted so badly would have made you miserable. You might see that that man or that woman that you wanted so badly would have drove you crazy. When you look back, you might see that your life is going according to a plan that was tailor-made for you. And can't nobody fill that spot. I've come to encourage somebody that nothing leaves your life without something better eventually taking its place. It might not look the same, but you always end up with better. And when we receive the no's of life, we just have to make no our vitamin, because there's so much to be learned within each no. You can learn purpose through a no. You can learn your calling through a no, because when you're told no, you have to shift your thinking. Now, sometimes you receive a rejection and it's life testing how bad you really want it. Because sometimes you receive a rejection on a no, which is revolving something that was never meant for you. But sometimes you receive a rejection on something that you know is for you. And for those times, some of the best advice I ever heard is that we need to train ourselves to hear yes when haters tell us no. When you begin to hear yes when people tell you no, really what it is ultimately, it is a knowing for yourself. And a knowing for yourself comes from deep within. And a knowing for yourself doesn't need the validation from others out there. And a knowing for yourself knows that no matter how many rejections I receive, I'm supposed to do this. I know I'm supposed to do this. I feel this in my soul that I'm supposed to do this. And I'm not going to play 4 quarters. I'm going to play this through until I win, because I have a knowing for myself. When you have a knowing for yourself, you are both confident and convinced that no matter what happens, you are going to accomplish your purpose. You're going to accomplish your goal. I love the story of Jamie Kern Lima. Jamie was on the verge of developing a cosmetic company. After receiving several rejections, she received what she thought was going to be her big break. She had an opportunity to pitch to a major investor, and she was super excited about it. So she goes through her pitch, and she is doing her best work in this pitch. She's hitting all of her points. She's not really forgetting anything. There's a flow, there's laughter in the room. She's thinking everything is going great. Towards the end, her pitch and her company were rejected. Upon receiving the rejection from this major investor, Jamie asks, why? And this major investor's response was, can I be really honest with you? And she was like, yes, please be honest with me. I need to know why this isn't working for me. And this guy's response was, well, Jamie, I just don't think that women will buy makeup from somebody that looks like you with your body and your weight. Now that statement would have crushed, I'll say 99.9% of people. But what Jamie had is a knowing for herself, because I watched as she explained so eloquently that as this guy is telling her that she is not enough, the knowing on the inside is telling her that he is wrong. She is quoted as saying, when this dude gave me a no, God gave me a knowing. Come on, somebody. But remember, train yourself to hear yes when others hear no. And because Jamie followed the knowing, she sold It Cosmetics for $1.2 billion. Not million, billion. And I want this video to be a reminder to you that although you cannot control what other people do or what other people say, you can control whether or not you quit. Persistence after purpose pays every time. And 90% of success in an area is showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up. Many people are not a success because they do not have the courage to continue. And if you can develop the courage to continue to pursue after your purpose, your life will be a service and an impact to others. The only gatekeeper to your future is you. Rejection's not the gatekeeper. Your mindset is the gatekeeper. And although rejection is discouraging, remember that as long as my mindset is right, rejection is only a temporary setback. I'm reminded of a slingshot and how a slingshot is often pulled back, but then released in power. And when it's released, it propels past whatever was blocking it in the first place. And if you could move past the rejections of life, you are going to propel yourself into a life and a destiny that is beyond what you could have ever imagined. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.